Welcome to the Newton County Democratic Party's Town Hall Forum Series. In round 2 of tonight's forum, the candidates vying for the Newton County Coroner's seat join us. They are Dorothea Bailey Butts, Gabriel White, and now, our moderator, Treasurer, Kathy Wills.
Newton County Democratic Committee Candidates Forum. Tonight's candidates are running for Newton County Coroner, and they are Dorothea Bailey Butts and Gabriel White. I'm your host, Newton County Democratic Vice Chair Mike Hesterly, and our moderator for this forum is Newton Democratic Party's Treasurer, Kathy Wills. Kathy, it's all yours.
All righty, thank you. And welcome. Good evening, and thank you, candidates, for joining us for this forum tonight. Thank you to our neighbors and fellow voters for tuning in with us. Knowing that 2020 is the most pivotal election of our lifetime, solid leadership is a necessity. Now I will review the guidelines of this forum that the two of you candidates have received prior to this dialogue. These are the guidelines for the forum that the leadership and candidates have been given. I will call on candidates in alphabetical order by last name. When you are called on, you will be unmuted by the host, and you will be provided up to 2 minutes to give an introduction of yourself and your campaign. I will then ask the question that was submitted at random. Candidates will be called on to respond by last name. The candidate answering the question will be provided 1 minute to respond. If an opponent is mentioned in the response by another candidate, then that opponent, will be afforded 30 seconds to respond. Time will be called by the first vice chair, who is our host for this evening. All candidates will not necessarily be asked all questions, though with just two of you, we pretty much will be able to go through all the questions. The allotted time for this forum has been given 1 hour. If all questions have been given the opportunity to be presented, I will then recycle the questions and continue in the order previously mentioned until the time is called by our host. At the closing of the questions, I will call on the candidates to give up to 2 minutes for a closing statement. This forum is live streamed on YouTube. All comments are disabled and removed to ensure that the focus of this forum is on the candidates and not on the individuals wishing to cause an outside disruption. At the end of the forum, you may find a recording available on our YouTube and Facebook page. Just as a reminder, this is not a debate. This is not a time to sling mud upon one another. We want to provide a fair and equal opportunity to have candidates in front of the constituency. Any issues that arise in the forum that may violate this will be decided upon unanimously, agreed upon from the moderator and the host. Will be decided upon unanimously by the moderator and host, Whatever decision is made is final. Now, I would like to give the candidates their 2 minutes for introduction. And we will start with Miss Dorothea Bailey Butts. Go ahead, Miss Butts.
Thank you, Kathy and Mike. And I'd like to thank Newton County Democrats for hosting this event and everyone that is watching. My name is Dorothea Bailey Butts, and I would love to be your next Newton County Coroner. This year, 2020, the voters have a choice to put the correct person in office. The person that is caring, capable, committed, competent, and ready to serve all of Newton County. I'm 50 years old, and if you ask me again, I won't say it again. I'm happily married for over 25 years. I have 3 children, 5 grandchildren. Born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, over 10 years, my husband and I have been residing right here in Newton County. And this is where we bought our home, and this is where we plan to remain until God calls one of us home. My background, as most of you know, I am a registered nurse, and I just got back from New York fighting on the front line this nasty COVID-19. On June the 9th, I asked each and every one of you guys to go out and vote for Dorothea Bailey Butts as your next Newton County coroner. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey Butts. And now we will hear from Gabriel White.
Hey everyone, I am Gabriel White, and I am asking for your vote for your next Newton County coroner. I was born and raised here in Newton County. I am related to almost all of Newton County. I am 29 years old, young, have new ideas, ready to bring my new ideas into the coroner's office. I have been in this industry for 10 years. I have served majority of this county. I've dealt with many different people in this industry, so I know how to care. I have compassion, and I am willing to, work with everyone in this county. Race has nothing to do with it. Age has nothing to do with it. Gender has nothing to do with it. I think that my 10 years, it qualifies me. And on June the 9th, I need your vote for your next corner of Newton County.
Thank you, Mr. White. And now we are going to start our round of questions. And the first question goes to Miss Bailey Butts. Miss Bailey Butts, what education, training, and experience do you have for this job?
I think my education and background as a registered nurse gives me more than the qualities to sit for the coroner. I've been dealing with 2 birth certificates. I've been doing 2 certificates all my life. I've been giving birth certificates and death certificates for over 23 years. Compassion, holding people's hands, also fighting and making sure I'm on the front line. Traveling all over, working in Los Angeles, California, New York, Georgia, Alabama, just to name a few. Working in forensic nursing at DeKalb County Sheriff's Office, Metro State Prison, Grady, Emory, Piedmont, hospice nurse, just to name a few. Those are my qualifications, and I bring more than that to the office if you guys would elect me on June the 9th to be your next coroner for Newton County.
Thank you. Mr. White, your question. Do you believe having a relationship with a funeral home is an asset or a hindrance in serving the role of coroner? Mr. White?
It can be both. I feel like in this role as coroner, you cannot be on one side. You have to, there's no side. You cannot make them feel like that all of the people that you go out on is going to one location. So it's a asset and it can be a hindrance as well.
Okay, and thank you. So, Miss Bailey Butts, question. Can you describe the process of retrieving, identifying, and examining a deceased individual?
Well, I'm very familiarized with the medical terminology, the disease process, the medical algorithm that is used in the hospital. I'm also very familiarized with the checks and balance dealing with the medical as well as the law enforcement, coming from working as a forensic nurse at the DeKalb County Sheriff's Office. Also, I don't have any real questions. I don't have any real answers for this question. It's one thing that I have to wait until I get there, but the process is basically taking care of the people providing compassion and being sensitive whenever we're dealing with the public loved one.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. White, what is your vision for our community?
My vision is I want to bring a grief counselor in and give this community the opportunity to be counseled. Because when we go through grief, we need help. Because if we do not get help, we tend to repeat the same things that has happened. So I think if we bring in a grief counselor that can come in and that can talk and that could help us get back to where we need to be as individuals after we have went through this.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Butts, what measures will you implement as coroner to ensure no suspicious death falls through the cracks?
No suspicious death fall between the cracks. Pretty much, the coroner acts as a checks and balance. So whenever the coroner is called out to the scene on all suspicious or unsuspicious death, the coroner is in control of the body. The sheriff is in control of the scene. At that time, we would do our investigation. And when I walk on the scene, I would start my investigation from the time I walk on the scene to the time I get to the deceased. And at that particular time, I will make sure I'm looking, being very detail oriented, talking to the law enforcement, working closely. But at the end, we should basically come together and determine whether or not a crime has been committed or nothing has been committed. So the most important thing is just making sure that we do checks and balances and making sure everybody's trained properly, knowing the medical terminology, the disease process, the medication, which I'm a medication certification, and also a phlebotomy instructor where I'm able to do the toxicology and also the histology lab work as well. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Mr. White, how do you communicate with family members when you have to notify them of a relative's death?
When you have to notify a family of a relative's death, I would like to be the one to do that, because like I said, my 10 years, I have learned a lot in this business, and I know how to go up to a relative and talk with care, with love. And so as long as you talk with care and love, you will do good. But we cannot still determine how that relative will respond to the passing. But we have to remain compassionate at all times.
Okay. All righty. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going back to Ms. Butts. And Ms. Butts, your question is, what is priority number one for you if you are elected to serve?
Great question. It's to create and maintain an office of honesty, transparency, and respect within the coroner's office. To continue on working with the law enforcement to continue to make our county safe, where people want to come and continue to raise their family. Also, build a relationship within the community where they can get to know the coroner on not so on a negative term, but also on a positive term. Making the coroner role more visible, and not only just see me every 4 years, you will see me every day, because I'm looking to make this a full-time job, and also getting a connection with the community as well, going into the schoolhouse and working with the kids as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. White, what makes you the best opponent to challenge the incumbent?
Well, I have 10 years in the industry, born and raised here in this county. So I would think that my community would want someone that they know in this office. They would want someone that they know that is caring and compassionate. They would want someone that has that they have dealt with, that is honest and that is dependable and dedicated to the job and to them. I wouldn't want a coroner that's going to work for the hospital or the sheriff office. I want a coroner that's going to work for me, and that isn't going to take sides to cover up. That makes me the better opponent.
Thank you. Miss Bailey Butts, how do you communicate with family members when you have to notify them of a relative's death?
Thank you. Been doing this for over 23 years. As a nurse, we've been having to notify the family of the loss of their loved ones. But dealing with that, you have the compassion and being sensitive. Those are the two main things when you're delivering a death notification to a family. I would like to deliver it in person, but sometimes I can't always deliver it in person, but I have to be very sensitive because sometimes the family member might be out of town, but I will do everything that I can to make sure I notify them. Also in a timely manner. Today we have social media. So I want to be able to let the family know about their loved one before somebody else knows, because this is very disheartening. Also, I want to go out in twos. Whenever I deliver this notification, it will be two of us, because if one of them get called away, we will still have one person there to comfort the family. Also leave brochures to the family, let them know which what I call the coroner's passport. I will pass that out to each family that comes in contact with the coroner, letting them know important numbers, who to contact, my contact telephone number. Can I make a phone call? And sometimes I might have to take them to the hospital. So I need to be ready at all times. And lastly, I would like to do a follow-up call within 24 hours to check on the family, to make sure they got everything that they need. And if anything else I can do, they can always call the coroner's office, because we're there 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a week, 365 days a year, ready to serve our community, each and every one of them. And if I shed a tear too, it's okay. I'm only human. And being compassionate and sensitive, you can't fault me for that. I'm a female. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. White, what makes you best qualified in this race?
This kind of sounds like the last question, but what makes me best qualified is my time that I have worked in this industry, and that I know the ropes around this. I was a transporter for the current coroner for about 5 years, and I have had real time, on a scene with him. So I know how a scene goes, what happens on the scene, what the coroner needs to do, how the coroner needs to act, and how to give how to give this county the utmost respect and the utmost care and the utmost compassion when something like this happens to someone.
Thank you. Miss Bailey Butts, what makes you the best opponent to challenge the incumbent?
Well, as you guys know, in 2016, I was on the ballot and I lost by a smidget. So I had to fight. I didn't just wake up in the morning thinking, hey, I want to become the coroner. I've been training for this for over 30 years. Working for the hospital and working for the funeral home, those are the two main entities that you're going to have to work with. So for those that don't want to work with somebody in the hospital or the board, that's going to do us a disservice. Me, the medical, dealing with the medical, law enforcement, that's my second nature. I have no family in Newton County. So when I walk on the scene, I just want to know the facts and findings. And I just want to be able to bring closure to the family, no matter who it is. At the end of the day, I want to make sure I whisper the last couple of words to the family. I want to thank you for allowing me to be the voice for the voiceless and to be able to give you closure on the cause, what happened to your loved one. Also, the manner. Do we need to take notion whether or not the sheriff needs to get involved and bring a trial upon that person that caused harm to that deceased? And also, your insurance benefit determines what the coroner puts on your death certificate. If you don't have any knowledge, we're losing money. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. White, what education, training, and or experience do you have for this job?
Well, I was a transporter for the coroner's office for 5 years. I worked at Lackey's and Sons for 10 years, and now I'm at Young's. And I have learned everything from Lackey's and a transporter on how to serve my people. And when I say my people, that's the whole county. There's no white, there's no black. Not to me, there isn't. So I'm here to serve my people, and what I have learned, that's my qualifications.
Thank you. Miss Bailey Butts, what does effective leadership look like to you?
Leadership is where you embrace the concept that meeting the needs of the others and what allows the community and the business to reach their full potential. It means being honest, having integrity, being a visionary, and have morals. Also seeing that a team works together, and as a leader, you find the strength, and the strength is serving everybody that have weakness. So if it's my weakness, so if my teammate has a strong point, they kind of offset my weakness. So therefore, we come together and we're working together as one when we're in the community, in the coroner's office. Leadership is something that you can't buy, and it's definitely something you can't read about. It has to be embedded within. And I am, and I will be the person if you guys elect me on June the 9th as your next Newton County coroner. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White, can you describe the process of retrieving, identifying, and examining a deceased individual?
Once you arrive on a scene, the first thing that you need to do is make contact with the person that has passed away. And you need to examine that person to make sure there's no foul play. You need to examine the people that was there to make sure that, there's no foul play. Because I can look at this person and I can see there's no foul play, but, something could have happened. And you could get that from the people that was there while the person was passing away. So after you have identified the person, you do the proper, you go by what you need to do. Contact the crime lab and you transfer everything that you have came up with over to them, and you work together with them to see if there needs to be a autopsy done. And if there needs to be autopsy done, you transport that person up to the GBI.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Back to you, Miss Bailey Butts. Your question is. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Your question is, do you believe having a relationship with a funeral home is an asset or a hindrance in serving the role of coroner?
I find that that's a conflict of interest. As a coroner, you should be for the citizen, the county, the community who elected you as the coroner to serve. Funeral home, let's be clear, the coroner doesn't make that, it's not a financial entity, makes a lot of money. The funeral home is making a lot of money right about now for COVID-19. So I have to be biased when it comes to working in the funeral home industry. I don't lackey. I think they're awesome. Young, awesome. Wheeler, I think they're awesome. But once again, I would never work in a funeral home. That's not who I am. My thing, I'm here to make a medical investigation, walk on the scene with confidence, and make sure I do the facts and the findings, start my investigation from the outside to the inside of where the deceased is located, and make sure I collect, take photographs, also update the family. But once again, the funeral home, it's a great industry. I love the people that have the love for doing that type of service. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. White, what would be your priority number one if elected to serve?
My first priority would to bring transparency into the coroner's office. I feel like that if I can get transparency into the coroner's office, I can get the community involved. So it won't be like we have a coroner that only comes out whenever a person passes away. So I want to bring transparency. And then, like I said, grief counseling. I really want to introduce Warren Newton into grief counseling. That would help us, I believe, on our crime rate. If we get people the proper help that they need, I think our crime rate will go down. And as coroner, it's our job to go out on a death scene or when someone has been killed. But who wants to go out and see somebody that has been killed when we can fix the problem? Now, we know that things are going to happen. We know that. But I think that with grief counseling, that it will help heal a lot of our younger people that are doing these crimes.
Thank you. Ms. Bailey Butts, back to you. And the question is, what makes you the best qualified in this race?
Didn't I answer? I answered that one already.
Did you ask that one already?
Yes,
I think you had one that was kind of like it, but I don't think I gave you that one. I think.
Okay, but did I? Okay, no worries.
No, okay, no, I don't think you did. I'm sorry.
No, did you give it to me or?
I did not.
No.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you. Once again,
I'm sorry.
Can you repeat the question again? I apologize, guys, but thank you so much.
No problem. What makes you the best qualified in this race?
My diversity background in nursing. I am an experienced healer. I'm an experienced nurturer. I am experienced server. Been doing this for over 30 years. As a nurse, I have been trained in psychology, dealing with the mental health, which I am a mental health instructor, and I do certify people to become mental health aides. Also, I'm a phlebotomy instructor. I can train my staff to draw all our toxicology and also show them how to collect histology. Once again, that would speed up our results for our county. And it wouldn't cost the county anything. Why? Because we're trained professionals and this is what we do. Next, compassion, serving the community, and also prevention, bringing in various programs, not just going to programs every 3 months. These programs will be weekly, every other day. You will ask me, where's the coroner going now? The coroner is going to continue on doing her work and making sure her community is well taken care of, especially with COVID-19. Once again, I'm on the front line. So I see where we as a county could have benefited if they would have had Dorothea Bailey Butts in office. I'm trained for disaster. And also I do Narcan instructions for people that are on opioids. Opioids is pretty much, I can show the sheriff office, anybody else, how to administer Narcan safely, so we can kind of like decrease death rates when dealing with overdose. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Mr. White, what does effective leadership look like to you?
Effective leadership is, to me, it is holding yourself accountable, having the county hold you accountable. I can't hold anyone accountable until I hold myself accountable for the job. Once I hold myself accountable, I can hold everyone else accountable, the people that's up under me. And effective leadership is also going out on every call. Effective leadership is coming to the table every week with my assistants and talking about our cases for the week. That's effective leadership. Effective leadership is me being on the front line, not to send out anyone else. Just when you call, I am coming. You won't see my assistant coroner. I will be there. Not saying that I won't have assistant coroner, because there are cases when I cannot come. Maybe I have a doctor's appointment when I will have to need the assistant coroner to come. But if I'm not doing anything, I will be there. And I think that is effective leadership. When you lead by example.
Okay, thank you. And we are coming into the last round of questions here. Ms. Bailey Butts, what is your vision for our community?
My vision for Newton County will continue to see us grow, that we will be an exclusive community, and one that people will want to come and shop and live and visit. I would like to continue on seeing that the law enforcement, working with them, making sure that we remain safe. I would love to be the town where it's exciting to raise your family, purchase your home, live, work, play, and just having that balance when I come to Newton County, and just know that all is well, and our community is growing, and everyone is working to continue on making us a great county. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. White, last question here. What measures will you implement as coroner to ensure no suspicious death falls through the cracks?
First and foremost, I'll be on every corner call. And when I see something, that's just me. I am going to ask about it. I'm not befriending a nurse or a doctor for their wrongdoing. I'm not befriending no one. If you done wrong, you just done wrong. And it's my job. It is my job to make sure that you are held accountable for what you have done. I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, this concludes the questions that I have for you this evening. Now, I would like to afford you two the opportunity to give us your closing remarks. You will have 2 minutes for that. And since we opened up with Ms. Bailey Butts, we will do our closing with Mr. White. Mr. White, you have 2 minutes, please.
Okay. Like I said, I am Gabriel White, and I would like your vote for Newton County Coroner 2020. The reason that I ran for coroner, because it's something that I always wanted to do. I have a passion for caring for people, and I feel like that that this is where I belong. I belong caring for my county. And as many as people that I know in this county, it is still growing. And my love for people, I just want to get to know everyone in this county, new to this county. And like I also said, that I will be on every call. I want to review every case the same. There's no, I am not going to review this case because it is minor. Every case will be reviewed the same. I'm going to walk in as something serious has happened. And we're going to get to the bottom of it, even if they died of natural causes. For instance, I had an incident, it's been about 8 years ago at the hospital. And a death certificate was marked undetermined. And it was one of my relatives. And I notified the current coroner about it, and there was nothing done. So the proper things happen, but that would never happen up under my watch. If a person passes away in a hospital, that death certificate should not be undetermined. The cause of that person passing should be known. I don't care if it's natural, if it's homicide. The causes of death should be known. So I am the coroner that's going to make sure that you can rest at night knowing that justice was served, that your family member is resting in peace. So June the 9th, please vote Gabriel White as your next coroner for Newton County. Thank you.
Thank you. And Miss Bailey Butts, you have 2 minutes for your closing.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Newton County, if I'm elected, I promise to be the voice for the voiceless and give closure to the family. On this journey, becoming the coroner, I had a chance to shadow a coroner. The coroner had already made his determination. The family was set to get $50,000. I asked, could I go and do a post-mortem investigation? At that particular time, I did an investigation using my nursing skills, my eye for details. I noticed one thing that the coroner overlooked. Once when the coroner and I had a conversation, the family got $150,000. The patient died of accidental death, not natural causes. Most of our money, guys, are going to the grave with our loved ones because we continue on putting people in place because that's my family member, that's this. That's not me. When I walk out there, I represent you. I represent the individual that lost their best friend at the age of 16. I represent the person that father died of cancer. I represent all those nurses in New York that's losing their lives because we're putting our lives on the front line. I represent that little girl that have a dream and always said, no matter what, this first note that I got in 2016, I came back for 2020. I would never, ever want to be sitting here, but this is what I love to do. And once again, Newton County, I want to educate the community and bring the coroner office into the community. I want to give the office, I want to give each member that comes in contact with the office a pamphlet on what to expect next with all of my contact information. Yes, I will be on every call. I'm nosy. I'm a nurse that always say why. Being an ER nurse, ICU nurse, a trauma nurse, I'm going to always ask why. And if you can't ask why, you better believe I will be doing the language, speaking the language with the medical department, the funeral home, the law enforcement. Because at the end of the day, bringing closure to the family is what I am set out to do. Newton County, June the 19th. I am Dorothea Bailey Butts. Let me change that. I am Nurse Dorothea Bailey Butts, the people's coroner, the voice for the voiceless, and most important, bringing closure to the family. Thank you so much, Newton County, for allowing me to do this event. And thank you, Mr. White, for attending as well. Once again, Newton, we all will get through this. Don't forget to wash your hands, wear your mask. Because coronavirus, guys, I'm tired of it. I'm ready to get back to my norm. Once again, thank you so much, Kathy. You did an outstanding job. Thank you, Mike, for, is my hair together? Thank you, guys. And I just want to tell you, I appreciate everybody. Have a great night, guys.
All right. All right. Okay, so this concludes our forum with Miss Bailey Butts and Mr. White. We want to thank you for participating, taking the time out of your evening. And we know with all this going on, we've all, and being enclosed in home, we're all very, very busy at this time. But still, we want to thank you for taking the time out of your evening to participate in this forum for us. Thank you and have a wonderful night. And before you go away, our people who have tuned in and our listeners, I just want to say, please visit the Newton Democrats Facebook page. It's at newtongeorgiadems.org. There you can get information on the candidates that are running. You can get information on the forum series dates and times. You can subscribe to our mailing list. You can get information on who our current elected officials are. And you can get information about upcoming events with the Newton County Democratic Party. Also, I want to just say we are looking for volunteers to do phone banking. This election is vital, guys. It is vital. If we have not seen anything with this COVID-19, we have seen how ineffective the leadership is today. It is pertinent that we get out and vote and get to as many friends, relatives, people you just see on the street and tell them, vote, vote, and vote. Thank you and have a great night.
Special thanks to you, Kathy, for being our moderator and for being our treasurer.
Paid for and approved by the Newton County Democratic Committee. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.